Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about really the simplicity of fitness. And I'm not even saying that to devalue coaching, because my clients find great value in the coaching and they often have very specific goals. But realistically, there's so much bad information out there, and there's such a misapplication of the misinformation. And I think an enormous part of that is the fact that people have tried to make most elements of fitness more complicated than they need to be. Things that we have known for decades, the science has repeatedly confirmed, kind of gets pushed to the wayside for the newest trend, and it's to sell products and things, right? It's to sell products and things, because let's be realistic here. Basic nutrition. What have we known for decades? Everyone from bodybuilders to the top coaches in the world coaching professional athletes to the best medical doctors who are using diets to cure, or at least offset heart disease, diabetes, everything else. We know the basics. And I'll jump to training in a minute too. What are the basics? Humans thrive best on, plenty of healthy whole foods, right? Bias towards carbohydrates, eating starches, minimizing refined sugar, minimizing saturated fat, keeping fat within a reasonable level. All right, getting some high quality proteins in there, particularly building muscle. Okay, let's come back over. Bodybuilders realized this decades ago, and they had no trouble getting jacked and getting ripped. Okay, they had no trouble at all. They're like, we'll just eat lean protein and some starchy carbs and vegetables and things. Okay, did it work? And I'm not saying chicken, broccoli, and rice is always the way to go. It could be fish and potatoes, or steak and potatoes and oats, or whatever it happens to be. There were vegetables, different fruits you want, but the idea was the same. Has anyone historically had a problem making this work? No, it worked for thousands and thousands and thousands of people for decades. Okay? And we need to be clear on that. It's worked very well. The same concept. Plenty of doctors 20, 30 years ago were reversing and getting people off meds for diabetes, all these other things. Just saying, let's just focus on starchier carbs and whole foods, and eat vegetables and keep your fat in check. Okay? That's it. And it worked. Okay? And but you make that statement right now, and then people literally want to argue with it. And it's like, but it's time proven. There were medical doctors who figured this out before some of you were even born, and were successfully implementing these basic strategies. Bodybuilders were stepping on stage and winning bodybuilding shows, jacked and ripped, following these basic principles. And you know what? Calories in and calories out. Eat more to gain muscle when you need to, and eat less when you want to lose weight. This worked fine. Most supplements don't work. We know this. So again, everyone's trying to sell oftentimes the most bizarre diets, and then they want to sell you products to go with it, because of course you're not going to have too many deficiencies if you're just eating a normal balanced diet like I described. Okay, probably going to be fine. A few things here or there may have some situational benefits, but it worked. Same thing. We come over to strength training, gaining muscle. Yes, there's nuance with volume and programming and fatigue management, sure. But basics. What's the basics? Get strong on a few basic exercises and fill in the gaps. Okay? Big movements usually build the most muscle. We know doing fairly long ranges of motion build the most muscle. And if you want big arms, you should probably do some curls. Okay? You want really big arms, you're probably going to need to do a lot of curls. This isn't controversial. And again, I'm not talking about for people who are trying to win a bodybuilding show or win powerlifting meets. I'm talking about people who just want to be in really good shape. They want to be jacked. Guess what? They should probably do some big movements, focus on progressive overload, good exercise economy, do some big movements, and then do some extra volume for their weakest links, or the muscles they care most about, or whatever is lagging. If your calves are lagging, do a bunch of calf raises. If your biceps are lagging, do a bunch of curls. Okay? Try to focus on full ranges of motion, particularly muscles that are lagging or the muscles that you really care about the most. You should probably come in and do some extra full range of motion stuff for it. Look at what the muscle is doing. This is not complicated. If you're struggling with biceps and you realize you're only doing half reps on your curls because you're skipping the entire bottom and your elbows still have 30 degree of bend, well, that's why your biceps aren't growing. Do some full range of motion movements. Okay. Probably be a good idea for most people to do some extra posterior chain work because that's why their knees hurt. That's why they have a bad back. Yeah, do some glute and hamstring work. Okay. Again, for the most part, these concepts are not that complicated. People have overcomplicated them with these convoluted arguments of squat versus leg press. Do I need to twist my pinky this way on this exercise? Am I lining up the fibers with the pull on this one arm lat pull down? Do you really think that matters? No, I mean seriously. Biomechanically, muscle growth, and I'm not saying certain things don't matter, but the stuff that people focus on, completely irrelevant, has no relevance whatsoever in any shape, form, or fashion to your muscle growth. Okay. Work muscles through long ranges of motion. They probably need a couple different angles. Train them hard, train with sufficient volume. All right. Again, bigger movements have better exercise economy. You can use smaller movements to fill in the gaps, wherever you're lacking. People have lost sight of this, right? These basic principles are not that complicated. They're time proven. They work. And they have worked for a very, very, very long time. And then people will say, and I'm not saying they're wrong, that, well, we do learn new things over time. Absolutely. But do you really think the clowns you're promoting all this other stuff have learned anything? Or is this just silly stuff they're just making up along the way to make it more complicated? Again, not talking about when we're training to be at the absolute elite competitive levels. I'm talking about people whose goals is just have some big biceps and squat 450 and to bench 300 pounds, okay? That's not the same thing. I'm not talking about people getting absolutely contest ripped. I'm talking about people being lean enough to have a six-pack and being healthy and fit. All right? People have overcomplicated some of the most basic concepts with all the weirdest training and booty bands and carnivore diets and nonsense. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.